And the Oscar goes to Adrien Brody.
If you don't wish to be here, don't come.
He is an artist who defies definition, a master of transformation so profound.
You convicted murderer, you homicidal, suicidal, psychopathic, no-talent drunk.
You'll swear he's lived every life he's portrayed. He is Adrien Brody, the man who, at just 29 years old, held the weight of the Holocaust on his shoulders and walked away with an Oscar, becoming the youngest actor ever to win Best Actor. But what happens when the spotlight dims? Why did Hollywood's brightest wunderkind seemingly vanish from the A-list after his monumental victory? Was it choice or circumstance? What went through Halle Berry's mind about Adrien Brody's unplanned kiss?
What was going through your mind when Adrien Brody kissed you at the Oscars? Was that planned?
Okay.
Can I say it for real?
Yeah.
From his early struggles in New York to international acclaim, Brody has always prioritized depth over stardom. Did the Oscar open doors or close them? What drives him to continually reinvent himself, even when the world struggles to define him? And how has he defied both expectations and limitations to carve out a legacy that transcends Hollywood's fleeting nature? Stay with us as we uncover the story of a man who has thrived against the odds, on and off the screen. Adrien Brody grew up in Jackson Heights, Queens, in a creative and diverse environment. His mother, Sylvia Plachy, was a photographer, and his father, Elliot Brody, was a history professor and painter. With parents involved in the arts, it's no surprise that Brody was drawn to performing at a young age.
I'm so grateful to have found acting and for acting to have found me. And
as a child, he entertained at birthday parties under the stage name The Amazing Adrian, performing magic tricks that captivated kids and adults alike. But his parents saw a bigger future for him and enrolled him in acting classes. Part of their motivation was to keep him away from negative influences in the neighborhood, but it also turned out to be the first step toward his future career. He attended IS 145 Joseph Pulitzer Middle School before moving on to Fiorello H. LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts. This school, known for producing top-tier talent, helped him hone his craft. He also spent summers at Long Lake Camp for the Arts in upstate New York, further fueling his passion for performance. By 13, Brody was already landing roles in off-Broadway plays and PBS films. His early start in acting laid the foundation for the career that would eventually make him an Academy Award-winning actor. Even though he briefly attended Stony Brook University and Queens College, his path was clear. Hollywood was calling, and he was ready to answer. As a teenager, Adrien Brody became more focused on acting, participating in multiple high school productions. His passion for the craft grew, leading him to take professional acting classes in New York City, where he developed his skills and learned about the industry. His breakthrough came with The Pianist, a role that required him to fully commit.
This is the greatest pianist in Poland, maybe the whole world.
To prepare, he immersed himself in classical music and spent hours learning how to play Chopin's compositions on the piano. His dedication paid off when he won the Academy Award for Best Actor, making history as the youngest actor to receive the honor at the time.
29 years old when you won the Oscar. Youngest leading male?
yes,
Yeah.
Since then, Brody has continued to make an impact in both film and television. Brody studied at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, graduating in 1993. However, his early career wasn't easy. Financial struggles forced him to rely on friends for a place to stay, but he never gave up on his passion. His family also faced financial hardships, at one point moving into a relative's basement. Even during difficult times, Brody remained committed to acting. Throughout his career, Brody has worked with acclaimed directors and taken on challenging roles that push his limits. His ability to fully transform into characters has earned him respect in the film industry. His journey began at a young age, landing his first off-Broadway play and a PBS TV movie by 13. Adrien Brody started his film career in New York Stories, 1989, where he had a small role in a segment directed by Francis Ford Coppola. He then played Eddie in The Boy Who Cried Bitch, 1991, and Lester in King of the Hill, 1993, a film about a boy struggling to survive during the Great Depression.
Hey,
Lester!
Come on, get in there.
Hey, I got him, just like I said. Idiot.
In Angels in the Outfield, 1994, he played Danny Hemmerling, a baseball player on the struggling California Angels team. He took on a lead role in Ten Benny, 1995, as Ray, a man trying to escape a life of small-time crime. In Bullet, 1996, he played Chris, the best friend of a troubled ex-convict, played by Mickey Rourke. His career picked up in The Last Time I Committed Suicide, 1997, where he played Ben, the best friend of a writer dealing with personal struggles.
It's not an epiphany or any great notion like that. It's a realization. I'm thinking about California.
That same year, he starred in 6 Ways to Sunday, 1997, as Arnie, a young man who becomes a hitman under his mother's influence, the role of Corporal Jeffrey Fife, a young and inexperienced soldier. However, his role was significantly reduced in the final cut of the film. Originally, Fife was supposed to be a central character, but director Terrence Malick made major edits, shifting the focus to other characters. The movie itself is a war drama set during World War II, specifically during the Battle of Guadalcanal in the Pacific. It follows a group of U.S. Army soldiers as they struggle with the horrors of war, both physically and emotionally. Unlike traditional war films, The Thin Red Line is more philosophical, exploring themes of nature, humanity, and the psychological toll of combat. Even though Brody's role was minimized, the film was highly praised and featured an ensemble cast that included Sean Penn, George Clooney, Woody Harrelson, Nick Nolte, and John Cusack. Despite having fewer scenes than expected, this film helped Brody gain recognition in Hollywood. In Summer of Sam, 1999, he played Richie, a punk rocker dealing with paranoia during the Son of Sam murders.
What do you want me to tell you then? Get a fucking divorce then.
Divorce is fucking evil, Rich. You got some fucking really bad advice.
Evil spelled backwards is live.
In Liberty Heights, 1999, he played Van Kurtzman, a Jewish teenager navigating racial and social changes in 1950s Baltimore. He then played a kidnapper in Oxygen, 1999, and a labor activist in Bread and Roses, 2000. In Harrison's Flowers, 2000, he played a war photographer, and in The Affair of the Necklace, 2001, he portrayed Count Nicholas de la Motte.
I knew something grand was afoot.
By this point in his career, he had already established himself as a talented and dedicated actor. His ability to take on different roles and bring depth to his characters earned him critical praise and a strong fan following. Brody is famous for his immersive approach to acting. He prepares intensely for his roles, sometimes changing his physical appearance to match a character. Beyond technical preparation, he also deeply connects with the emotions of his characters, often drawing from his own experiences to make his performances feel authentic. Brody's breakout moment came with The Pianist, which made him the youngest actor ever to win an Oscar for Best Actor at 29. It was a role of a lifetime for him, and also one which he did not have to audition for.
That was about it, and we met, and I met in his office in his home, and we had coffee, and I was so fascinated with him immediately, and he was incredibly warm and generous to me and treated me immediately with this level of respect. This is a movie that I would have killed to audition for, and he didn't even ask me to audition.
In The Pianist, 2002, Adrien Brody played the Władysław Szpilman, a Polish-Jewish pianist trying to survive during World War II.
Has declared war on Nazi Germany.
That's wonderful, wonderful.
It is expected.
The movie, directed by Roman Polanski, is based on Spilman's real-life story. It shows how he loses everything after the Nazis invade Poland. He watches his family get taken away, hides in destroyed buildings, and barely survives with the help of strangers, including a German officer. This role was very different from Brody's earlier movies. Unlike his smaller roles in The Thin Red Line, 1998, or Liberty Heights, 1999, he was the main character here, carrying the entire film. To prepare for the role, he lost a lot of weight and had to show deep emotions without much dialogue. Compared to his character in Summer of Sam, 1999, where he played a loud and rebellious punk, Szpilman was quiet and focused only on staying alive. In Bread and Roses, 2000, he played a labor activist fighting for workers' rights. But in The Pianist, his character had no power to fight. He could only try to survive. His success has inspired a new generation of actors, from his unforgettable performance in The Pianist to his ongoing work in film and television. Brody's influence is undeniable. His performance earned him an Academy Award for Best Actor. Here is what he said about his experience.
Did you feel like your peers or your elder peers, the people that you had admired, kind of like gave you validation in the wake of The Pianist? And what did that mean to you at the time?
Oh, absolutely. It still almost moves me to tears because, and I think this is something that I inherently learned from my mother and her experiences of, my mom fled Hungary during the revolution in '56.
Adrien Brody won an Oscar for his role in The Pianist, but the emotional toll of preparing for and acting in the film still affects him. 15 years after the win, he often gets asked about that role. Brody has said the experience was difficult, explaining that he had to sacrifice parts of his personal life.
Very excited about getting this role, and in an effort to be as truthful as possible, I decided to get rid of my apartment, drop my phone lines, sell my car, basically lose touch with most people that I knew, aside from a few key friends and loved ones. And because the character loses so much, I wanted to kind of have a glimpse of what that loss would feel like. So I did this prior to leaving home and basically showed up with everything I owned.
During the film's preparation, he not only learned to play the piano, but even followed a strict starvation diet, losing 30 pounds.
I would have piano lessons every day because it was very important for Roman that I learned to play so that he could actually use it. And fortunately, I was able to pick up a lot pretty quickly. I practiced all the time, and I starved myself because the character basically didn't eat for quite a long period of time. And so I couldn't eat very much for a while, and I lost about 30 pounds.
In an interview with New York Magazine, he mentioned he suffered from PTSD due to the weight loss, but said that was necessary for storytelling. After finishing filming, he felt lost, staying on friends' couches while trying to rebuild his life. Brody admitted he felt depressed for a year after making The Pianist, describing it not as just sadness but as mourning. The role brought him face to face with harsh realities, and the emotional impact still lingers. Even though he has played many different characters since, including in King Kong and Predators, the aftermath of his Oscar-winning performance is something he can't completely shake. Despite the challenges, Brody continues to find interesting roles, though he has turned down opportunities, such as superhero films and long-running TV series, because of their massive commitment. He appreciates the chance to work on great stories, but is careful about how much time he devotes to projects. Above all, Brody values his privacy, acknowledging that losing the ability to observe others without being noticed is a significant loss for an actor. Adrien Brody wasn't just an actor when he won the Academy Award for The Pianist at age 29. He was a phenomenon. The youngest Best Actor winner in Oscar history, Brody stood center stage at the Kodak Theater that night, kissed Halle Berry, and cemented himself as one of cinema's brightest stars. But little did anyone know, this would be both the peak and the pivot point of his career.
Because by the time I got finished kissing her, they were already flashing the sign to say, "Get off the stage, your time is up."
What was going through your mind when Adrien Brody kissed you at the Oscars?
I was like, what the f*** is happening?
As soon as the golden statuette was handed over, the machinery of Hollywood began to spin. Enter Brian Lord, the powerhouse agent from Creative Artists Agency, CAA, who saw in Brody not just talent, but potential superstardom. "You're going to be the next Tom Cruise," Lord reportedly told him, "or maybe Brad Pitt or George Clooney, all CAA clients." And why wouldn't Brody believe it? He had just proven himself capable of carrying a film like no other young actor could. So, with dreams of becoming a leading man dancing in his head, Brody signed on with CAA, ready to take Hollywood by storm. Over the next few years, CAA lined up major studio projects designed to launch Brody into orbit. First came The Village, directed by M. Night Shyamalan, a filmmaker whose name still carried weight before The Sixth Sense became synonymous with twist endings. In the movie, he played Noah Percy, a young man with a developmental disability who becomes jealous when Ivy and Lucius get engaged. In a fit of rage, he stabs Lucius, which sets off a chain of events that leads Ivy to leave the village in search of medicine. It was a meaty role, but despite its star-studded cast and eerie atmosphere, The Village left critics divided and audiences underwhelmed. Next was The Jacket, a psychological thriller set against the backdrop of war trauma and time travel. Directed by John Mayberry, Brody portrayed Jack Starks, a Gulf War veteran trapped in a mental institution, forced to confront his past, and possibly alter the future, through experimental treatments. While visually striking and thematically ambitious, the film struggled to find mainstream appeal. Critics praised Brody's commitment to the part, but questioned whether the story itself held together. Finally, there was King Kong, Peter Jackson's epic reimagining of the classic monster tale. As Carl Denham's reluctant screenwriter, Jack Driscoll, Brody brought humanity to a film dominated by towering apes and CGI spectacle. In King Kong, he took on a completely different challenge, playing Jack Driscoll, a playwright who finds himself in an action-packed adventure alongside a giant CGI ape. Despite the film's fantastical elements, Brody's grounded performance helped make the story feel real. In an interview, he explains the portrayal of his role.
So you've done some pretty amazing work in the past, but do you approach them, all acting roles, the same way? Because in this case, there's really not much going on around you.
Everything is different. Every experience with every job, every person, every interaction, everything seems to be different. And I don't know, I don't have a formula. I don't have a, everything requires different research, different things to overcome. This was exciting because it was pretty much all new to me. I'd never done green screen work. I'd never, worked on I've done studio films, but not something.
Yet even with Jackson fresh off the success of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, King Kong couldn't quite replicate that magic. For Brody, these three films marked a pattern: big budgets, acclaimed directors, and diminishing returns. By 2006, cracks were starting to show. Lord, once the architect of Brody's grand ambitions, was now juggling bigger fish: Pitt, Clooney, and others making waves at the box office. Suddenly, Brody found himself handed off to junior agents without the same pull. Adrien Brody's next choices reflected a change in direction. He took on smaller, independent films like Hollywoodland, where he played a private detective named Louis Simo.
He's my son. He is. Tell him. Evan, tell me, please. Come on. Evan.
The Darjeeling Limited, Wes Anderson's quirky ode to sibling dysfunction, and Brothers Bloom, Rian Johnson's caper about con artists chasing their final score. Each showcased Brody's versatility, yet none managed to reignite the spark of stardom. Then came Cadillac Records, a biographical drama about chess records and the birth of rock and roll, and Splice, a sci-fi horror experiment gone wrong. Both films stumbled critically and commercially, leaving Brody further adrift. By now, studios weren't calling him for lead roles anymore. Just 5 short years after his Oscar win, Brody seemed destined to fade into obscurity. Desperate for change, Brody made a bold move. He fired CAA entirely, opting to go agentless for a period. This led to some questionable decisions, including starring in Giallo, a low-budget Italian thriller so problematic that Brody later sued the producers to recover his full salary. Variety's scathing review summed it up best: a misfire on every level. At this point, Brody's career felt less like a cautionary tale and more like a punchline. But redemption often comes in unexpected forms. In 2010, Brody signed with Paradigm, a respected but second-tier agency. No longer competing with A-listers for top billing, he embraced being a bigger fish in a smaller pond. Still, the strategy remained oddly familiar: chase leading man roles. He bulked up for Predators, stepping into the shoes of Royce, a hardened mercenary dropped onto an alien planet. Then came Wrecked, essentially a one-man survival show and experiment based on the infamous Stanford prison experiment. Despite flashes of brilliance, none of these films captured the public imagination. Meanwhile, endorsements from brands like Stella Artois and Gillette tried to recast Brody as a rugged sex symbol, a desperate attempt to wring out whatever remained of his fading fame. By 2013, Brody's career hit a low point with Inappropriate Comedy, a raunchy spoof that couldn't have been further from the emotional depth of The Pianist. The film earned him the harshest reviews of his career and an abysmal 0% score on Rotten Tomatoes.
A nice hard finish, and I squeeze each load down that barrel.
And I pow, pow, pow in the sky!
Doesn't really go in the sky, but...
In 2014, he starred as the famous magician Harry Houdini in the History Channel miniseries Houdini. The series followed Houdini's rise to fame and his struggles behind the scenes. Brody's performance was praised, and he earned an Emmy nomination for the role. During this period, he also continued his collaboration with director Wes Anderson, appearing in the Grand Budapest Hotel, 2014. He played Dimitri, a greedy and ruthless character involved in a family inheritance dispute. The film was a critical and commercial success, winning several Academy Awards. In 2015, Brody starred in Dragon Blade, a historical action film alongside Jackie Chan and John Cusack. The film, set during the Han Dynasty, featured Brody as Tiberius, a Roman general seeking to expand his empire into China. The movie was a box office hit in China but received mixed reviews elsewhere. In 2016, he appeared in Manhattan Night, a neo-noir thriller where he played a journalist investigating a mysterious death. The film was based on the novel Manhattan Nocturne and showcased Brody in a classic detective-style role. In 2016, Adrien Brody took a step back from acting and focused more on his passion for painting. He had been interested in art since childhood, but during this period, he dedicated more time to creating and showcasing his work. His paintings often featured bold colors, abstract elements, and themes influenced by his experiences in film and life.
I've been painting since I was a child. I've been drawing and painting for 2 years now. I haven't taken a film role. It's like kind of reconnecting to my love of painting.
He described painting as a deeply personal and therapeutic process, allowing him to express emotions in ways acting could not. In 2016, he exhibited some of his artwork in New York and later in other locations, including Art Basel in Miami. His interest in painting continued alongside his acting career, and he later collaborated with brands like Dom Perignon, incorporating his artistic vision into their projects. Eventually, he realized he did want to return to acting, but only on his own terms. He had no interest in being the brooding hero, the guy who aches and bleeds for the audience's entertainment. Instead, he craved character work, roles where he could deliver sharp quips, command the screen, and collaborate with bold filmmakers and dynamic actors. Since 2017, Adrien Brody has taken on a mix of television and film roles that have kept him in the spotlight. In 2017, he joined the 4th season of the BBC crime drama Peaky Blinders, playing Luca Shangretta, an Italian-American mobster seeking revenge. His performance was praised for bringing intensity and depth to the role. In 2021, he appeared in the hit HBO series Succession as Josh Aronson, a billionaire investor caught in the power struggle of the Roy family. That same year, he starred in Wes Anderson's The French Dispatch, continuing his long-running collaboration with the director. From 2022 to 2023, Brody played legendary basketball coach Pat Riley in HBO's Winning Time: The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. His portrayal of Riley, from his early coaching days to his rise as one of the most successful NBA coaches, was widely appreciated. His television work has also been well received. In Peaky Blinders, he played a ruthless fixer in post-World War I England, adding intensity to the show's already gritty world. Adrien Brody delivers a riveting performance in The Brutalist, 2023, Brady Corbett's sweeping historical drama about a Hungarian Jewish architect who escapes the horrors of World War II and strives to rebuild his life and legacy in America. Brody embodies the resilient yet deeply scarred protagonist, whose journey to create beauty through the raw, unyielding aesthetic of brutalist architecture becomes a powerful metaphor for survival and hope. With its lush cinematography, thought-provoking exploration of art and trauma, and Brody's emotionally charged portrayal, the film has sparked significant Oscar buzz, particularly for Best Actor and its technical craftsmanship.
Yes, unfortunately, there is
obviously a tremendous amount of anti-Semitism. The fact that it's intimate to me, the roles that I've played, and it makes me feel very grateful to be a part of storytelling that speaks to this and the many other issues that the film provides insight into.
Adrien Brody's personal life and career have been shaped by moments of resilience, turbulence, and quiet determination. In 1992, his early years as an actor were nearly derailed when he was seriously injured in a devastating motorcycle accident. Thrown over a car and crashing headfirst into a crosswalk, Brody spent months recuperating from the incident, a testament to his grit and ability to overcome adversity. This brush with danger may have influenced his fearless approach to physically demanding roles later in his career. Brody's relationships have often reflected both his romantic idealism and his desire for privacy. He began dating Spanish actress Elsa Pataky, known for her role in the Fast and Furious franchise. In 2006, and their relationship became something of a fairy tale when Brody purchased a 19th-century farm in central New York State for her 31st birthday in 2007. Remodeled to resemble a castle, the home symbolized the couple's shared dreams and creative synergy. They even opened its doors to Hello! Magazine in October 2008 for a sprawling 35-page spread, giving fans a rare look at their idyllic life together. However, the romance ended quietly in 2009, leaving Brody to move forward without fanfare. By February 2020, reports surfaced that he had begun dating English fashion designer Georgina Chapman, whom he met during her separation from disgraced producer Harvey Weinstein. Though the relationship drew media attention due to Chapman's high-profile past, Brody kept details scarce, staying true to his preference for discretion amidst public scrutiny. Now, we'd love to hear from you. What are your favorite Adrien Brody performances? Do you think he has been underrated in Hollywood? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and share this video.